Hey guys, Artosis here. Welcome back to ArtosisCasts. Hope that you're having a wonderful day here today. Here I've decided to go ahead and throw on a mirror matchup. It's going to be a Terran versus Terran between two of the absolute best Terrans in the world. We have in the top left probably the best performing Terran as far as ASL goes since Flash, basically. It is Rush. And his opponent in the bottom left, the best performing Terran of ASL Season 17, and that is going to be Sharp. I did notice there's been a trend in comments of people saying that there's not enough mirror matchups. I can tell you factually that mirror matchups do not do as well. Not as many people like to watch them. Which makes a lot of sense to me. Like, I don't go out and look for Zerg vs. Zerg or Protoss vs. Protoss watch unless I've been recommended certain games that are really particularly good. Like, I do watch plenty of Terran vs. Terran, although there's not a lot of it anyways. But yeah, I mean, I think that people are probably right. I avoid them maybe slightly too much. So we're just going to go ahead and throw this one on. You know, two of the very best Terrans right now on one of the new maps, super recently played. Both these guys having very good ASL runs this season, so hopefully be a good one. We have Rush here doing a forward 11 racks where we have in the main base of Sharp, his barracks gonna go down, and yeah, both sides going for what looks like those 12 gas, and yeah, so everything pretty standard. The big difference is the forward 11 barracks. Now, in this case, it's not going to do that much, but it gives you a slightly better economy than your barracks in your main base. Now, early on, like maybe it's slightly less because you have to send out an SCV more quickly, right? Like while your depot's building, you have to send this SCV out to make this barracks. Whereas when you make it in your base, you just use the depot SCV and you send it over to the side of your base and make it, right? But then with this build, you almost always send out a scout. With this build, you wait until it's done, you send the SCV to scout, and then you make a Marine to scout the other main. So when you watch this, you'll notice that he'll have two mains scouted around the same time or he would at a similar time to when Sharp has two mains scouted, right? So it's like maybe not as quick a first scout and everything. Well, I guess it's actually technically three mains, but whatever. You kind of get my point, right? Like you're saving some minerals like that. And also you have potential to put pressure on with these Marines if it's something like a command center first. So right now, Rush comes down. He sees what the build is. He sees the location, attacks that SCV a little bit. He'll just get out of here with his SCV. Not much else he can do. In fact, he's going to a third Marine to come down with, which is kind of interesting. You definitely can pressure with 3 Marines. But you can also see here, like, well, with 2 Marines, I don't think that anything's going to happen to Sharp, right? Like, he should be able to just pull back here, and you can see yeah. This is actually kind of nice in a way. And in fact, he dives pretty hard. Sharp trying to get rid of these, and in fact, only 1 Marine going to remain, but that's going to be annoying as well. A Vulture's being made, so this is not going to be like a long-term thing, but he's slowing the command center a reasonable amount, and he's making a bunker, which is not going to do anything. So the bunker, I think, was the mistake here. Everything else seemed pretty good from Rush. So Sharp going to hold that, and let's take a look. The command center is still slower from Rush, despite the slowing that he did to Sharp's command center. So, right, I think that bunker was the big mistake there. Now, Rush has an add-on on the way, already mining 3 back on gas, and has 2 Vultures before his add-on. Over here on Sharp's side, same exact thing going on. Looks like he's going to add that additional factory, whereas Rush going for that starport. Now it'll be interesting to see when we're going to have, the armory started here for Sharp. Is he going to go for a quicker third factory? And it's mines. Okay, I love this opening from Sharp. So because he's going mines, anytime you see mines like this, you will see an armory with it. So his build is going to pair up well against Rush's build. It's not like a hard counter or anything like that. There are hard counters in openers in Terran versus Terran, but I feel like you don't see them hit each other very often. Like no one does things that leave you no outs very often. It happens, but not too much. Now the barracks comes up. He's going to see the starport, right? He actually has not started his armory yet, but he needs to get that started right away. That could be a bit annoying because he ended up losing all of his Marines, so there's nothing to slow the Wraiths down. Now, Sharp moving out with his 3 Vultures, he's just going to try to lay some mines and paths that we might see Rush walk up with his siege tanks. Armory is on the way. Worker count very, very similar, and we'll see what damage can be done with the Wraith. So the Wraith, where did the Wraith go? Okay, here it is, flying across the map right now. Barracks just kind of landing in here to watch what production we're going to see, out of this factory. I'm surprised he kind of has it landed right now. Some mines going down, and you can see the Wraith comes over to start harassing the armory. Now, this is actually a mistake from Sharp. You can see his SCV is rotating down here and can't be repaired. So if you're starting an armory after you realize that it's Wraith, never make the armory against other things. Just put it in the middle somewhere, because if you put it in the middle somewhere, you can always repair the SCV if you micro really well against that incoming Wraith. I have seen so many games lost and have lost so many games myself with an armory position like this, where the SCV keeps jumping to the other side and you don't have any repair potential. Either way, the Wraiths are doing very well. It was a quick factory, or a quick starport rather. And finally, we have some Goliaths out. So that's probably going to be just about it as far as the CV kills go for the moment. Going to force that back. We'll see. Nope, no cloak or anything on the way. The barracks has sat here this whole time and scouted out what's been going on, which is factory ads. So he's sacrificing the factory to get a tell on this, because you need to know, is it going to be cloak or is it going to be quicker factories? Now, normally with this type of build, you'll see Terran go into 5 factories afterwards to make sure that he can have map control, right? Like, you want to be able to push everything back with those vultures. Whereas Sharp here, instead of adding those extra factories, he sacrificed his barracks, so he's going to be on 2 factories for quite some time. He has gotten his academy, but he's basically just focusing on siege tanks. And Rush going up into 4 facts right away. We'll see if he actually goes into a 5th factory. You don't have to, right? These are all just general things that I'm saying. But yeah, the Wraiths come back in. The nice thing about this build for Rush is it's very kind of proactive, right? Like, by making Wraiths, you force Goliaths. And normally you force the add-ons as well, right? You force the academy. Oh, he actually did add a 3rd factory. I'm sorry. I did not see that because it was like way up here. I think he was actually hiding it from the Wraiths that were harassing him. Anytime you can make disinformation, that's good. But anyways, because you force Goliaths, suddenly it's like, okay, you probably need a Goliath here, you probably need a Goliath here, and you probably need Goliaths with your army, right? And so you're making at least like 3 Goliaths. Goliath's not going to fight as well as Vulture Tank, and then you just go into Vulture Tank afterwards, as that starport opener. And oftentimes you can get map control then. You just kind of have some more flexibility, but your opponent should generally have a bigger ground army. There's definitely ups and downs to both builds. There's like a lot of stability involved with going for the type of play that Sharp has done here. Like, you can see his army's really strong. He's got mines out on the map, which is definitely a big deal. But it's not like Rush is feeling bad about himself here, right? He's got plenty of tanks. He's got good production now. He's getting into all of his upgrades and everything. So right now I'm looking at the game, and it does look pretty darn even to me. Getting the speed now off of 3 factories. You can see that he's leaving quite a few Goliaths in his main base. Now, this is to catch a dropship. Generally, what happens is you go Wraith, you go into the Vulture Tank, you go 3rd Command Center, and you go dropship. And in fact, we see a couple of scans going down. So he's like checking, like, do you have a 3rd base? He has a Vulture here. So the SCV came up. This is where Rush wants to take his 3rd base, but Sharp has denied that. So Vultures are going to have to go up to clean that. A more containment-based position here for Rush. Good placement there from Sharp. If you try to come in too close, he is going to snag some kills. The spread is pretty thin, pretty wide here for Rush. Kind of interesting to see. Oh, okay, I thought he was going to siege up over here too and try to control both of these areas. Not sure if that's always going to be a great play with such a small army, because you are definitely going to find You know, is Sharp looking for an opportunity to smash that. Now he's adding another factory, getting up to his own starport. Looking back at this base, another factory being added for Rush while he gets his third command center up. And no add-on still, so he's not going for that drop. That's why we, again, why we have Goliaths in here. Yeah, they catch Wraiths too, but he wants to catch potential drops. Like it's such a common play, right? You force your opponent into this more immobile comp, and you've gone for plenty of vultures, so and you already have a starport, so you just kind of drop, and if they overreact with the units in, you attack. Because, like, right, if too many of the units go back to clean that up, then suddenly they have a weak line, and maybe you'll be able to push in. So right now, Sharp is doing a great job of kind of controlling the map. You can see this position he's taken. Or did I say Sharp? I mean Rush, obviously. Rush, the blue Terran here, is controlling the map really, really well. Oh, mine hits. That's kind of nice. But look at this position he's taking. Sharp is pretty trapped. Now, what Sharp actually needs to do is he needs to set up a little line that won't be broken here, like maybe 3-4 tanks, and then bring everything and shove out this side really, really quickly. You don't want to attack into this. It's too many. It's hard to see exactly what's going on, though, just to, like, make this pretty clear. One thing Sharp does have going on for him is he has his third base up quicker. The SCVs are being sent over by Rush to take this base. And in fact, he's taken a fourth as well. So what we're very likely to see from Rush right now is just a consistent rally of units in. We don't have this landed with an add-on, so there's not going to be dropship play. So this is going to come down to brute force. It's like with Sharp rallying everything up into a containment position, the window for Sharp to break out is going away really quickly. Look at this. He brought these units over. If he had found earlier, if he had realized earlier that there were only 3 tanks in siege mode over here, he would have already gone. But he moves up, starts to get into a position. He's going to be able to kill off a lot of vultures here, but not as many tanks, unfortunately. It's a really good siege line right now from Rush. And as you can see, basically both sides eat up most of their vultures. In fact, Rush saved a bit more. Much better position for Rush right now. See? Look at all these tanks. Really, really fantastic. I'm going to just take a quick look at upgrades, what we have going on there. Do we have a science facility on the way? No, we do not. Oh, you know, we do. Okay, so Sharp is going to get into +2 so much faster. Or maybe not, if science facilities already be... Oh, no, it was already made. All right, they're going to be timed out actually very similar on +2. That's good to see for Rush. Now, he does move in. This is kind of like a weird position to siege up, and in fact, will take some damage. Kind of an interesting spot for Sharp to commit so many tanks. But Sharp needs to gather his army. He has to break out of one of these sides. Breaking out of this side gives you like a longer macro game where you can kind of cut the map in half diagonally. Breaking out this side might give you more potential for an attack, but it's kind of thin, so I don't like it very much. Notice how Sharp has a lot of... Rush has a lot of units in the center that are not sieged up. This is his army to reinforce anywhere that Sharp is trying to break out of. So he is going to come down, maybe just slightly late there. Sharp sieging up, trying to make himself a path to the other main base. But Rush has done such a strong job here, kind of denying that. We have a lot of tanks set up, so... You know, he has pushed him back a little bit, right? Like the containment was a little bit further forward, but Rush just continues to rally down, and it feels very good for him right now. Wraith has been made, no drop ships over there. I think that Rush is going to run away with this game very soon. So he has this additional base. It's a mineral base, so you're not really thinking about it all that much. Like, it is helpful at this stage in the game still. You can start building mass turrets. And, of course, making other command centers. He's got another base set up. You can see some turrets are getting started at this point. And he should just... I mean, with whatever additional APM he has, setting up turrets is amazing here. One other thing he's going to want to think about is adding a few Goliaths to his army. You can see he's making like 7-8 turrets at a time right now. But, yeah, you want to make sure that Wraiths can't surprise you. But, like, this game is almost sealed up. Sharp is trying very desperately to get out. He has to break out a path. It's like a tricky thing about Terran versus Terran, because map control actually means more than in maybe the other matchups, which almost doesn't sound right. But the defensive position, like if you're sieged, the value is so much higher. So you really have to break out before this type of thing happens to you. There are other ways. You can switch Wraith. You can switch in dropships. You see he is going dropships now, but Sharp is only on 3 bases. So this all starts to become pretty predictable. And now Rush has started to push forward, deciding, you know what? You don't have enough units over here. And he might be right about that. Taking over this high ground would be amazing. And in fact, he does end up killing the tanks that were in position there. We still have a lot over here. I don't know that Rush should really bother going any further. I think at this point, just missile turrets, either Wraiths or his own dropships would be very good here to just kind of do counterplay to drops your opponent has coming out. But as long as he's still sieging, and he actually never got +2. He had the science facility and he didn't make it. Definitely a mistake. He just starts it now. I was going to say, because that's something that helps to seal up. Ooh, he forces an unsiege, but he's not ready to capitalize upon it. But a good idea with this, but you do need to pair that with moving forward with siege tanks. But yeah, when +2's finished, like, you just can't attack into these lines anymore. I think Sharp has missed several, not several opportunities, but he missed a short window to break through here. Rush is doing a great job keeping this all going. This is very good SCV drops, and now he's pairing it up with the tanks moving forward. Really good SCV bombs. Can he break out of this side? That would be huge if he can get this area. Sharp continue to move forward. He has his own +2, so his tank's going to be so efficient as they move forward. But getting into these positions against the pre-siege tanks of Rush, incredibly, incredibly difficult. We have a science vessel that almost has enough for a defense matrix. That's going to make it all the harder. Still, like, great macro coming out of Rush here, continuing, to build up his fortified position in the center. Ooh, he's attacking into the +2. If you have good targeting here as Sharp, maybe this opens up another opportunity for you. I feel like this was a little bit wasteful. And now Sharp is breaking out of the left side. Oh my God. Is he going to break out of everything and be completely fine here? You see the supply has plummeted here for Rush, doing pushes that I think he absolutely should not have done. Sharp showing... Dude, I tell you what, playing from behind, Sharp's the best Terran versus Terran player in the world. Like, he gets behind in almost every TVT. I swear to God, I watch Sharp all the time. And, like, he will be contained almost all the time because he doesn't go 3-fact Vulture very often. So he always gets these positions where he's contained, but then he just plays... He fundamentally knows what he needs to do. And I feel like a lot of other Terran players don't. Like, we saw Rush pushing on both sides. He could have just reinforced infinitely, right? And if you're just in that sick reinforced position, you're feeling fantastic. But now Sharp is pushing across. He's broken everything. He's going to kill this base. Now, Sharp still... Rush still has a lot going on, right? Sharp has quite a ways he has to still push. Like, he has to kill these other bases, but there's literally no units, no factories. He's just going to kill everything. I think Sharp actually won this game. Oh my God. Wow. Wow. Okay. Yeah, no, all of this really does come down to Rush pushing for no reason. He had a sick containment up. And that's like how you lose in Terran versus Terran very oftentimes, is attacking into your opponent's army. And the thing is, sometimes you have to do it, sometimes you don't. Sharp had to do it. So if your opponent has to attack into you, attacking to them does not make sense, right? So, like, for instance, think about Terran versus Protoss. If your opponent, Protoss, is all in on, like, 2 or 3 base Gateway Man, and you're turtled up, and it's like they kind of have to attack into you because they're just not going to scale well. So do you attack into them? No! Same thing in TVT. Same thing in any matchup. Right? If you're, anytime you can dictate what your opponent has to do, you should prepare for that and destroy it. So, this was, well done by Sharp. He maintained his composure in a very tough spot. I honestly thought the game was going to end. Like, when he was not able to push out, I'm like, I don't know. Maybe he's going to GG. Maybe he'll do one final push. And you know what? Rush actually breaks through that finally, but we have bases being killed, SCVs being killed all over the place. With these upgrades, 2-0 against 2-0. And it looks like, yeah, these vultures still going to kill everything. It looks like these bases all being shut down. You know, Rush did regain this base, but you can see his supply is down to just about nothing. Almost no SCVs left as well. So Sharp seems to have done it. kudos to him. GG. Wow. All right. I hope you guys enjoyed that TVT. Kind of a fun surprise ending there for me, at least. Thanks for watching, and let me know if you want to see the occasional sprinkling of some mirror matchups. Bye-bye.